sponsored by Win-Win Technology. Take advantage of our end of summer promotion, offering a $30 off bundle discount on the whole test takeout panel controls through September 2021.
Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. Today's valued viewer request is from Herner Weisenburg. Oi Cap, is the superstall characteristic swept wing aircraft are prone to, as described in this video, modelled and or present for aircraft we have in DCS? He's asking if any of our aircraft we have in DCS have the superstall characteristic modelled. First of all, what is the superstall? The first thing I did, of course, is I went and watched the video that we've got here, and I will link that in the video description in case you want to go and watch the same thing. That's a 20-minute video, so to cut down on time, let's just cut to the chase. So a normal stall is, of course, when a wing here gets too slow, the angle of attack gets too high, a bit like we've got here, and the lift generated by the wing breaks down because the airflow going around and above the top of the wing is no longer sufficient. It's become very chaotic and turbulent. Pretty easy to get out of that stall. All you've got to do is turn your thrust up to get faster, and more importantly, put the nose down. You do that by pushing the stick forward, and the horizontal stabilizer and the elevator here moves, and the nose drops, the angle of attack of the wing decreases, and you're out of the stall. But what if you actually hit a superstall? A superstall is only relevant with certain type of aircraft. It has to be, or it certainly is, exacerbated by a swept wing. We've got, in this case, a MiG-15 to show off here, which has a swept wing of... It has to have a high-mounted horizontal stabilizer, or a full T-tail. We can see here we've got about a 2/3 mounted horizontal stab. So here is the vertical stab, or the tail, and about 2/3 of the way up, we've got the horizontal stabilizer and the elevators there. We're going to compare that to the F-86 just because these are two contemporary jets. We've got the swept wing about the same, 40, 50 degrees, whatever it is for the sweep. But this time we've got the horizontal stabilizer right at the bottom of the vertical stabilizer. So let's put these aircraft in a stall. This is the MiG at 0 degrees angle of attack. This is the F-86 at 0 degrees angle of attack. This is both of the jets at 25 degrees angle of attack heading into a stall. In this case, especially due to the swept wing, at this high angle of attack, we get created from mainly the ends of the wings. This area fanning out behind the aircraft, shown in these red lines here, of turbulent air. And control surfaces don't work or barely work in turbulent air. So all of a sudden, due to the design, our elevators no longer function because the air is completely turbulent and chaotic. Therefore, he can't actually get out of the stall. The thing he would do to get out of the stall is to use the elevators. Like we said, the elevators are no longer working and the rudder is barely working. It's a function of this design. Same thing here, 25 degrees angle of attack for the F-86. And you can see here that the area affected from the outside of the wing back only just touches the horizontal stabilizer here and doesn't affect the elevator at all. So this aircraft will not be prone to the superstall. It can just use its elevators to put its nose back down. The MiG can't, and the MiG will just drop out of the sky essentially because it will keep getting worse and worse. Our expert today is gaming. He is a real pilot. I am not, as you know. Gaming, you have been flying, is it the Diamond 40 you've been flying?
I have a Diamond DA-40.
Okay, I've got a 42 here because it just shows we've got a, I think probably just a slightly swept wing here, but mainly importantly, we've got the T-tail really highly mounted is the horizontal stabilizer, and you have to stall this thing on purpose. And can you tell us what happens when you stall on purpose?
Through private, everyone installs the aircraft they fly to know how to get out of it and what it feels like. And a Diamond is very specific in the way it does it. So I have to do about 25 degrees nose up to stall the Diamond in full power configuration. And I stall at about 55 knots. As soon as you hit that stall horn comes on, and as it's buffeting, and you'll feel the plane kind of buffet, your stick, since a Diamond uses a stick instead of a yoke, my stick becomes completely loose. Like it sometimes just falls in my lap because of there is no wind flowing over the T-tail, which means that I have no authority, in which I have to wait for the plane to fall nose forward for center of gravity. So
the interesting thing there is that you said you can actually, because you are connected directly to the control service, you can actually feel it become floppy because it's no longer got pressure against it.
Yeah, so like the Diamond has a push rod system. So the stick is directly linked to the ailerons and the elevator via push rods. So I can feel everything that's happening in that stick.
So that is the super stall. it's going to be fatal unless you've got a way of getting out of it, and there aren't really many ways of getting out of it, but there are design features that can be included in the aircraft. First of all, a front or a very kind of nose heavy plane is going to help because the nose is going to drop down of its own accord. We've also got wing fences. We can see on this MiG here wing fences, these little vertical strips on top of the wing. They will reduce wind slippage along the swept back wing, which will help reduce this phenomenon. Stall strips, which I've never heard of until now. Do you want to give us a tiny 30-second on stall strips?
Stall strips are basically, think of like pointy triangles on the front of the wing. We have actually 4 of them on the Diamond, one on each wing at the root and one on each wing at the end of the wing. What it does is that helps break the wind over the top and over the bottom. It makes it so that the wind has to decide instead of going underneath the wing at the last minute.
Right, how interesting. Okay, also vortex generators. Now, I've seen these, but never really understood what they are, and we finally understand now. We're going to the Diamond DA42 now. We can see vortex generators, sorry if it's a bit small, but on the wing here. Can you give us a quick idea of how these work and help the problem?
Diamond 42 and the 40 have these vortex generators, which also help with airflow. So the point of it is to create a vortex over the wing, making the air go faster over the wing. And so that means that when you're stalling, the air already has a vortex and has a flow, so that means you need even more angle of attack to break that.
Okay, and finally with stick pushers, only really relevant to large commercial jets, but there are of course some commercial jets that this is relevant to that have T-tails, and stick pushers will be something that will engage and push the stick forward automatically to get the nose down before it detects that you're getting in this condition. Like I said, once you're in that condition, there's nothing you can do about it. You're going to, fall out of the sky. Okay, now what we've been asked is, can it be modelled or shown in DCS? And we're going to try Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, is it called? I think as well.
Yep.
We'll try DCS first to see if we can get a MiG-15 to do it. I think that's the only thing of relevance, i.e. that has this configuration in DCS, and see if we can get it in an unrecoverable or near unrecoverable super stall. Before we go and try it, any other thing you'd like to mention about super stall gaming?
Like I said, it's basically the wind being blocked by the actual wing itself. The only real way to get out of it is, again, forward CG and or power, and hope that the nose comes down based on design.
Roger. So that'd be if you had a rear heavy engine like I'm looking at here, this MiG-15. This is going to be completely irrecoverable because the ailerons are going to stop working as well because these wings are stalled. I don't see anything you can do.
Yeah, once the wings themselves stall, you lose all authority on your control surfaces.
But when we were talking about, one thing that actually might help in this case is if the wings stall and eventually the wing drops, and the plane might naturally kind of roll out of this effect. It might make it worse, it might make it better, but that might be one way to escape it at least, because if it kind of rolled over.
If you're able to unstall partially a wing and make it roll, you could the gravity would pull it sideways down and nose down towards the earth, which means airflow.
You can see my credentials down at the bottom, and we'll pause once we're getting near our stall. So first thing I need to do obviously is to slow down. You can see my angle of attack there, that's the critical thing. We're looking for around 25 degrees. The plane may not even let me get that high, but we'll see. Other things may happen before we get to that kind of critical angle in terms of super stall. I mean, I can't get there, but we shall see.
Stall is also dependent upon speed.
Absolutely, of course, yeah. Speed and angle of attack are going to be linked, aren't they? 12 degrees. VSI static. 13 degrees. It's just shaking. We've got to 8. We've just popped up to 18 degrees all of a sudden. The VSI is pretty much static. So we're flying kind of along in a straight line. We're at 18 degrees there. So as it stands, this plane is going to be okay, because if I can get my cursor up, as you can see here, it's not a high enough angle of attack at the moment for the air blocked by this wing to be interfering with this elevator up here. So I'm going to need to get to higher angle of attack, which it probably won't let me, but let's try.
Don't forget to put your throttle in as well. We do stalls at full throttle.
Roger. No, what's happening in this case is actually a wings dropping before I can get to a super stall. I'm going to try it again. What's happened is that one of the wings just drops before I can get to the super stall required angle of attack, and I'm actually going to crash the aeroplane, I think. No, I'm okay. Right.
You're going to spin.
Oh, that was horrible. Right, okay, let's try that again. Slowing down. Stand by. 12 degrees angle of attack. 15, she's shaking. And I can't stop that wing dropping. No, so I'm losing control of the ailerons at...
Rudder. So if your wing's dropping to the right, use left rudder.
Trying.
Slowly.
Nah, it becomes... I just can't keep the aircraft stable enough to get up to that 20+ angle of attack. So this design appears to be okay. So I guess it also depends how far the wing is forward compared to the vertical, the horizontal stab. In this case, the wing is so far back because it's such a short aircraft. But if it was a long commercial jet, the kind of distance from the wing to this guy here would be so much longer, you know, the wing would be out here somewhere, that you wouldn't have to be at such a high angle of attack. So I would say that this MiG-15 can't do it because it's such a stubby plane. You need to be at such a high angle of attack to block the air to the rear stab. That's my guess. Obviously, I don't know, but that's my guess. And it just won't let me get there because one way or another, I've lost control and I've rolled out. Right, now we're going to move to a more suitable aircraft. We're going to move to, what is it, Diamond 40?
Yep, the Diamond 40, what I got my private pilot license in. It's a Jet A powered system with a G1000. So I'm not going to do this perfectly. As you can see, we have full flap configuration here on the right there. And I'm going to go ahead and power all the way up. You can hear the stall horn already kicking in because I'm already just so slow. So watch my stick. When I start stalling, I'm going to move it around real quick.
Oh.
Microsoft Flight Simulator is not the best.
Wow, you literally just dropped it there. Amazing.
Yep, I put it into a spin. So,
Roger.
like I said, the rudder authority isn't perfect. I'm going to go ahead and slow down. So I'm going to pitch up, throttle all the way back.
Wow, look at that.
See, it doesn't actually spin like this.
Yeah.
That's just poor modeling.
Yeah, I'm
But
getting the same thing with my MiG, yeah.
I have literally zero rudder authority. It's basically the CG of the aircraft, it being so far forward.
Mm-hmm.
So, but let me see if I can recover from this real quick. See if I can show you the stall strips. Right there. That's a stall strip right
Look
there.
at that, yeah.
You got one there. You have, they didn't model the vortex generators apparently.
Yeah.
But out there, I got one as well.
Yeah, I see it. All right, gaming. That was an interesting thing to learn. By no means am I an expert, but that's my understanding of it. I don't think we can model it very well in DCS. Anything you want to add to that, gaming?
Nope.
I hope you enjoyed that. See you later.